At 2:17 a.m., the phone vibrated under Nia's pillow. She was already awake. She had been staring at the ceiling for almost an hour, watching the faint shadows from the streetlight stretch and bend across her bedroom wall. The room was quiet, but her mind wasn't. It hadn't been quiet in months. The vibration came again. Her body reacted before her thoughts did. Her stomach tightened, her chest pulled inward, her breathing grew shallow. She didn't need to look at the screen to know who it was. It was Ethan. He never called this late unless something was wrong, or unless he wanted her to feel like something was wrong. The phone stopped. The silence felt heavier than the ringing. For a brief, fragile moment, she considered not answering if he called again. She imagined turning the phone face down, imagined choosing sleep, choosing peace. The phone vibrated again. She answered immediately. Hello? There was a soft exhale on the other end. Calm, measured. You were sleeping? He asked. No, she whispered. A pause. Why not? The question wasn't concern. It was inspection. I just couldn't, she said. You overthink too much, he replied gently. It's not healthy. It was strange how he could be the reason she couldn't sleep and still sound like the one protecting her from insomnia. When Nia first met Ethan, she felt chosen, not admired, not liked, chosen. He studied her like she was rare, like he had discovered something no one else noticed. He asked about her childhood, her fears, her dreams. He remembered small details, the way she took her tea, the song that made her cry, the name of her first pet. You're different, he told her during the second week. I've never connected with someone like this. And for someone who had spent her entire life feeling slightly invisible, slightly too much, slightly not enough, that sentence felt like oxygen. He moved quickly. Good morning texts before she opened her eyes. Long paragraphs at midnight about fate and timing. Plans for trips they hadn't taken yet. Jokes about future children. The intensity felt intoxicating. It felt like depth. It felt like destiny. She didn't realize that real intimacy unfolds slowly, that safety is quiet, that love doesn't need to rush to prove itself. She mistook urgency for passion. She mistook possession for protection. She mistook obsession for devotion. And by the time the shift happened, she was already emotionally entangled. It started subtly. He didn't like one of her friends. She doesn't respect our relationship, he said casually. Nia laughed. You barely know her. I know enough. He didn't argue. He didn't yell. He simply withdrew. His texts became shorter. His tone cooled. His affection dimmed. The change was small, but her body felt it immediately. Disconnection felt dangerous. So she apologized. Not because she believed she was wrong, but because she couldn't stand the distance. That was the first adjustment she made without realizing it. Then came the questions. Why did you take 30 minutes to reply? Who liked your picture? Why do you need validation from strangers? They were framed as curiosity, as concern, as love. But each question planted doubt. Maybe she was too friendly. Maybe she smiled too much. Maybe she didn't understand boundaries. He never shouted. He rearranged her reality gently, piece by piece. One evening, they went out with his friends. Someone made a joke. Nia laughed loudly, naturally, without thinking. On the drive home, Ethan was quiet. The air felt different. What's wrong? She asked carefully. Nothing. But his jaw was tight. His eyes stayed fixed on the road. After several minutes of silence, he finally spoke. You were enjoying yourself. She blinked. Yeah? With him. Her stomach dropped. He was just joking. You don't see how you come across, Ethan said calmly. You're too available. The words settled inside her like a stain. That night, she apologized for laughing too loudly, for being too open, for not realizing how she might look. And when he finally pulled her into his chest and said, I just don't want to lose you, relief washed over her so intensely it felt like love. She didn't recognize the pattern forming: withdrawal, anxiety, apology, relief, over and over again. Months passed. Nia's world grew smaller. She stopped going out as much, stopped wearing certain outfits, stopped posting pictures, stopped mentioning male coworkers. He called her dramatic when she cried, sensitive when she questioned him, unstable when she reacted. You're lucky I understand you, he once said during an argument. Most people wouldn't put up with this. But something inside her cracked. She began monitoring herself constantly: her tone, her facial expressions, her timing, her reactions. Love started to feel like a performance, and she was terrified of forgetting her lines. The truth revealed itself quietly. One evening, Ethan left his phone on the kitchen counter while he showered. It lit up once, twice, three times, different names, the same preview message repeating, I miss you. Her hands trembled as she picked it up. Her heart pounded so hard she thought she might faint. She scrolled. Conversations layered over weeks, months. The same phrases he once whispered to her. You're different. I've never felt disconnected. You understand me. It was duplication. She wasn't special. She was a template. When Ethan walked out of the bathroom, towel around his waist, he didn't panic. He saw the phone in her hand. His expression didn't change. You went through my phone? He asked calmly. You're cheating, she whispered. He exhaled sharply. If you weren't so insecure all the time, maybe I wouldn't need to talk to other people. You push me away when you overreact, he continued. You create problems. The word tilted. Somehow, impossibly, she felt guilty. I'm sorry, she said. Sorry. That night, she sat on the bathroom floor alone, cold tiles pressed against her legs. She stared at her reflection in the mirror. Her eyes looked dull, tired, hollow. She tried to remember the girl she used to be, the one who laughed freely, the one who didn't analyze every word before speaking, the one who felt light. Where did she go? She touched her face gently, like she was searching for proof she still existed. Why am I not enough? She whispered. But deep down, something quieter asked a different question. Why do I believe I have to be more than human to be loved? The cycle continued. When Ethan was good, he was perfect, attentive, affectionate, protective. When he withdrew, her body went into panic. Her chest tightened. Her hands shook. Her thoughts spiraled. And when he returned with warmth, it felt like survival. He created the wound, then offered the comfort. Again and again, leaving felt impossible, not because she loved him, but because her nervous system believed she needed him to feel safe. One night, after another argument where he told her she was too much, Nia packed a bag. She moved quietly, folded clothes carefully, zipped it closed. Her heart was racing, but her hands were steady. She walked to the door. Ethan was asleep in the bedroom, peaceful, unbothered. She stood there, hand on the handle, imagining a different life. Mornings without anxiety, silence without fear, breathing without tension. But then another thought crept in. What if no one ever loves me again? The fear was louder than the pain. She unpacked the bag, slid back into bed beside him, and in his sleep, he wrapped an arm around her. like possession. Months later, she stood in front of the mirror again. Sunlight poured through the window. Her reflection looked tired, but aware, and this time she didn't ask why she wasn't enough. She asked something else. Why am I fighting so hard to stay somewhere I am slowly disappearing? The question terrified her because this time she didn't silence it. Some girls don't stay because they're weak. They stay because their nervous system confuses chaos with connection, because inconsistency once felt like love, because abandonment feels more dangerous than mistreatment. But awareness is the first crack in the cage. And sometimes the most shocking thing a woman can do is leave. If this story resonates with you, you are not alone. It's never too late to leave. Always choose your peace. This is Bloom Within, where we learn, unlearn, and relearn.